One of the most important service with respect to AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate exam is AWS S3, that is Simple Storage Service. This is one of the earliest service provided by AWS. We will be covering all the basics and advanced topics related to S3 and relevant to Solution Architect exam and corresponding hands-on lab in the series of videos. And with each topic, we will try to cover some sample questions that will help you to interpret the information from certification perspective. So let's get started. So S3 we have divided into many sections from the video perspective. In the section 1, we will be discussing about the overview of S3 and what are buckets and what are objects and how we enable versioning, what is the use of versioning, and at the last we will try to cover some sample questions. So what is S3? This is one of the storage solution provided by AWS, and this is a global service. What do you mean by global service? That when you are creating S3 or when you are selecting S3 service, you won't see any region. But when we create buckets, we have to create it in the particular region that we will discuss later. Second, S3 is an object-based storage. That is, this should be used as object storage service. What do I mean by object storage service? It implies that you should store flat files in S3. It should not be used for any OS installation or cache solution, etc. We have some files that need to store reliably, securely, and with high availability, then S3 is the solution. We'll discuss the features more in coming slides. For storing the files, you have to create bucket. Consider these as folders, and files are stored as objects. We'll demonstrate this in the hands-on lab. Universal namespace. One important point to notice about S3 is when you create a bucket, name of the bucket should be unique across whole AWS. Means AWS can't have two buckets with the same name universally. There is no storage limit for data that you're going to store in S3, but object size has a max limit of 5 terabyte. Each object had some attributes, key, value, version, metadata. We'll check in details during the lab. Let's discuss about S3 buckets. Name should be globally unique, as we already discussed. Bucket is a regional resource. Even though S3 is a global service, but the bucket is a regional resource. So whenever we are creating a bucket, we have to define the region in which the bucket will be exist. There are some naming standard restrictions that is applied to a bucket. So some basic restrictions are the length of a bucket lies between 3 to 60 characters. It can consist only lowercase letters, so we cannot have any caps. It can consist numbers, dots and hyphen. No other special characters are allowed. Dots is only recommended when you are using S3 for website hosting. Bucket uses transfer accelerator can't have dots. We will discuss transfer accelerator in the future. There are some example names for valid bucket. Doc example bucket 1, so it is using all the small caps and a number. This one is using all the small cap, number and hyphen, and this is using small caps and hyphen. There is no example for dot because dot is not recommended. Now let's talk about the S3 objects. S3 objects are the files that are stored in the bucket. When an object is stored inside a bucket, it has few attributes associated with it. First one is key. Key is basically the name that is assigned to the object. Then we have version ID. If the versioning is enabled for an object, then particular version ID has been assigned to that object. The combination of key and version ID is used to uniquely identify an object. Value is the actual content that is stored. Metadata is the storing information regarding the object. The object data is under value and any information about the object is stored in metadata. Sub-resources are used to store additional information. Now let's talk about the size of the objects. So if you are storing an object from AWS console, then only up to 160 GB can be stored. Otherwise you can store up to 5 terabyte. But if you want to go beyond 5 terabyte, then you have to use multi-part upload. Some example of key name are like development/project.xls. So here first you create a folder as development and then project.xls file inside that folder. Even though it is mentioned as a folder, but in S3 it doesn't follow the hierarchical structure. It a flat file structure. The whole key name will be development/project.xls. Another example is s3-dg.pdf. In this case, directly this file is placed inside the bucket. Let's consider this sample question. You are building an automated transcription service in which Amazon EC2 worker instances process an uploaded audio file and generate a text file. So it's take an audio file and generate a text file. You must store both of these files in same durable storage until the text file is retrieved. So both the audio file as well as text file need to be stored durably. You do not know what the storage capacity requirement are. What storage option is both cost effective and scalable? So capacity you don't know. So it need any amount of capacity, and if we already discussed the S3 has a unlimited capacity. Second, S3 is cost effective and scalable also, and durable also. So let's see the options. Multiple Amazon EBS volume with snapshots. No, we won't be using EBS volume, that will be expensive. Amazon Glacier Vault. If we put in Glacier Vault is an archival solution, so we won't be able to retrieve quickly if we put it in the vault. Single Amazon S3 bucket should be the right option. Multiple instance store. Instance store is also not a right option because this is not a durable solution. So the answer should be a single Amazon S3 bucket. Let's consider another example. A company is deploying a two-tier highly available web application to AWS, which service provides durable storage for static content while utilizing lower overall CPU resources for the web tier. So there is a website and it needs some durable storage for some static content. So we are going to discuss in the future that S3 can be used for static website hosting. So this question is very much related to that. So let's see the options. EBS volume, no. EC2 instance store, no, because instance store is not a reliable. RDS instance, no, this is a database solution. So Amazon S3 is the correct solution. So this is basically an example of website hosting for static content. So the right answer is B. Let's talk about S3 versioning. S3 versioning is used to keeping the multiple variant of the same object in the same bucket. By default, versioning is disabled. So whenever you create a bucket, by default, versioning is not enabled. It need to be enabled, and it is enabled at the bucket level. You cannot enable versioning for an object. It enabled at the bucket level. What is the use of versioning? So few of the major use cases of versioning is to help for accidental deletion and overwrite. Say if you delete an object accidentally. So when you delete an object, it creates a delete marker for that object instead of permanently deleting the object. So delete marker will be the latest version. So here you have the option, if versioning is enabled, you can revert back to the older version and retrieve the object. Same is the case of overwrite. When you overwrite an object accidentally, it creates a newer version. So you always have the option to move back to the old version if versioning is enabled. So there are three bucket version state. First is unversion. That is a default one. So when you create a bucket and don't touch the versioning option, then the bucket is unversioned. And once you enable the versioning, then it is a versioning enabled version state. So what will happen when you enable a versioning for an object? For a bucket. All the objects that are created after the versioning is enabled will have a versioning ID. All the older objects will have the version ID as null. So after you have enabling the versioning, you don't have to disable it again, but you can suspend it. Once the suspension is done, any new object that is created won't be having different version, but the objects that are created when the versioning was enabled will still be continue to having the different version. So this is all about S3 versioning. Let's consider another sample question. To protect S3 data from both accidental deletion and accidental overwriting, you should enable S3 versioning on the bucket, access S3 data using only single or signed URL, disable S3 delete using an IAM bucket policy, enable S3 reduce redundancy storage, enable multi-factor authentication, protected access. So as we discussed in the last slide, to handle both accidental deletion and accidental overwriting, we should use versioning. So A is the correct answer. So this is all about this video. In the next video, we will be having some hands-on on the object and bucket and also versioning. So stay tuned. See you in the next video.